Hey guys, this is Pastor Mark Beauclair, and today I'll be taking you through Mark chapter 15, verse 1 through 5. To get you guys up to speed, we see that Jesus has just been tried by the Sanhedrin Council in a rigged trial. They wanted to make sure that they sentenced him to death, and now they were just trying to figure out how they could do it legally. We see that Caiaphas, he asked him a series of questions to try to get Jesus to implicate himself, to really just incriminate himself. So we see after those questions, Jesus answers. And then we see that he accuses him of blasphemy, and he says, "You're condemned to death." So that's where we started today in verse 1. It says, "Immediately in the morning, the chief priests held a consultation with the elders and the scribes and the whole council. And they bound Jesus, led him away, and delivered him to Pilate. Then Pilate asked him, 'Are you the king of the Jews?' He answered and said to him, 'It is as you say.' And the chief priests accused him of many things, but he answered nothing. Then Pilate asked him again, 'Do you answer nothing? See how many things they testify against you.' But Jesus still answered nothing, so that Pilate marveled." So we see the first thing it says immediately. When it says immediately, what they were trying to do, they were trying to take him to Pilate real quick. They were like, "Hey, we got to get Jesus out of the way. We got to go ahead and execute him before all of the crowds get involved, and then they might try to mount a resistance." Now they take him to Pilate, who is the Roman governor. And the reason why they took him to Pilate was because the Jews, they could not legally execute a criminal or anybody that they thought was a criminal under Roman law. Now, the thing that we need to understand from this is that according to the law that was given to the Jews, blasphemy was supposed to be executed by stoning. But they didn't want that for Jesus. What they wanted for Jesus, they wanted him to suffer. So they wanted him to be crucified under Roman law. So they take him to Pilate. And then Pilate, we know he doesn't care about all of the religious things. Pilate is just like, "Hey, are you a criminal? And also, are you going to be a threat to Rome and to Caesar?" That's all that he cared about. He didn't care about the rest of it. So he asks Jesus, he says, "So are you a king? Are you going to be one of those people who's going to be political opponent to us?" And Jesus tells him, "Yes, I'm a king, but my kingdom is not of this world," as we know in the book of John. What Jesus is telling him is, "I'm not a threat to you. That's not the reason why I came." And we see all of his other accusers, the religious leaders, they accuse him. But what does Jesus do? He keeps silent. He doesn't say a word. And Pilate is looking at that. He's like, "Hey, they're accusing you of all of these different things. You're not going to say anything?" Jesus still stays silent. Pilate is astonished by this because normally when people are accused of something, especially a crime, they're going to defend themselves. So he's like, I don't understand what's going on. But Jesus understood something. He understood that, hey, there's a time to be silent. Sometimes it's the best choice because Jesus had already proven who he was. He knew who he was. And also, nothing else that he was going to say was going to convince them. They already had made up in their minds and hardened their hearts on what they were going to do. So Jesus remained silent. He could have defended himself. He could have got himself out of all of that, but he wasn't interested in saving himself. What he was interested in was saving us. He knew that he had to be the suffering servant that was prophesied in Isaiah chapter 53. And he knew that in order to save the world, he had to die. He was committed to fulfilling that mission. So what can we learn from this whole section today? Keep silent. Be wise in how and when you respond. Don't be in a rush to defend yourself when somebody accuses you of something. And also, something that I learned in Mississippi as a child, I learned that you'll never reach your destination if you stop and you throw a rock at every dog that barks at you alongside of the road. So let your life and your character prove who you are and what you believe. Eventually, the false truths or the falseness, it will be exposed. And the truth of your character will eventually come out, and it will show who you are. It'll show you if you live a Christian life. So I just want you guys to take that into the weekend. I love you guys. Be blessed and have a great day.